Okay, so this is part two of my pickups. For this one will be from last week. Very good week for me, I guess. A very good week of comics last week. So let's get to it. First up, Action Comics number 26. The beginning of the first full arc by Greg Pak and Aaron Kuder. This was an excellent issue. Uh, Definitely um, a good start for Pak's run, though he already did the year time, which I also loved. Here, as the beginning of an arc, uh, you do get a full story in this issue with the obligatory uh, cliffhanger for that's the next issue. But here, you have a beginning, you have a middle and an end. Uh, and the art, I'm I like the art. Queer uses a lot of some interesting layouts from time to time, like here. Um, and that also showed in his in last issue. Uh, so we're introduced to what appears to be a monster that Superman fights, but he kind of starts getting that he may not be exactly what it seems to be, and we're introduced to a sort of uh, I don't know, you could say new villain slash hero slash villain called the Ghost Soldier that pretty much is attacking Superman while the army is going after the monster. So that this guy kind of phases and uses knives, but Superman sort of takes charge and is able to sort of defeat the villain, and saves this monster, which most think he probably sent him off to the sun or somewhere. But he actually saves him, and the end. Wow, I did not expect that. Uh, some of the art, like I said, I like the art, but might not be necessarily, some. It's just something I have to get more accustomed to. Though Twitter has done, work for the Superman office, from time to time he did a few fill-in pieces, or did art for a few issues as well in the Superman title. So yeah, but I really like the story, and I'm curious to see where it goes. It also sort of well, wouldn't say reintroduces Lana Lang, because that she was reintroduced last issue. But yeah, very great issue. I also decided to pick up Batman Superman number 6. Now this isn't a book I have in my regular pool. I usually pick it up if I have um sorry, I only pick it up on a whim. I've been liking what's been done, what Red Pack has been done with the book. Yeah, it is kind of annoying that I have to read like a calendar. I mentioned before that Marvel had already done something like this before, but they actually made it that you had the staples on this side, so you could pretty much open it like a regular book. Uh, so this picks up where it from last issue. Um, don't want to get too much into the details, but it seems that the gamers, or the game that this guy hero, this guy created actually was is a part of a plan for Mogul to take over Earth. So you know, uh, it's got some interesting sci-fi. It's I guess topical. I guess reflects our current society of gaming. So I've been finding it kind of fun and entertaining. Um, I have no more. I like the art by Brett Booth though. Um, so moving on, um, we'd enter number 25, 26. Sorry. This really picks up from where issue 25 left off, and pretty much this issue ends up that part of the story. Now, I've been noticing this trend that where stories start like right in the middle of a book, and they pretty much end on an issue. I mentioned that in the journal in All-Star Western, where the Constantine shows at the end, but his part of the story sort of ends right in the middle, and then something shows up. Here, last issue, half the story was the fallout from Lights Out, while the second half, really focused on the Renegade Star Sapphire. Um, and pretty much this entire issue is, the whole fight uh, between, these guys, which are members of the clan she rules over, a clan of thieves. But it does, and and that ends here, and it sets up uh, probably what I would believe a much bigger story coming up down the line. I really like the issue. I mean, Vendetti is doing a good job with the book. It's being sort of starting to establish his own take on the Lantern mythology. Um, what else? Uh, and setting up since he does have a long-term plan. There's going to be, like I said, they're set up for a bigger story down the line. Next book I picked up, Green Arrow number 26. Oh, this this book and this new arc, The Outsiders War, uh, uh, is pretty much the beginning of what I would say, being uh, of Lemire's, first major work on the book. He's been pretty much setting this up since he took over with issue number 17. Uh, so this arc is definitely the uh, climax of uh, that work he's been laying out. Though he has started to lay out the some other stuff, the whole thing with Richard Dragon, that will be taking a bit of a back seat to this, maybe. But this is what I would call, when you have long-term planning or a long story, you usually have to climax on something. You have to build to a specific point that is, like a high mark, before you go down again and start sitting for other stories. Sort of like, and I usually use Claremont's X-Men, where he had certain sets of stories, but he had sublets that would be setting things up for a big story, like for example the whole the whole Phoenix story. you know Part of that concluded with the whole Shi'ar thing, the Makran crystal. you know that was a conclusion of a set of stories and subplots he'd been slowly building up. And the same here, Lemire set things up for this Outsiders war. So this is like the big arc, while he's probably sitting for the big confrontation between Green Arrow and Richard Dragon as well. Down the line, maybe sometime next year, down the line, that's gonna sort of have its concluding point, if you will, and probably he'll be setting things up for other big stories. I love this issue. We get to learn a little bit more about that time. Oliver was in the island. So I know that some people are actually comparing this to the show, and I wouldn't really say it's the same thing. I mean, I watched the show. Yes, the island is important, but we really don't know much of what happened on the island throughout the New 52. We know he spent some time there, uh, but we really didn't know what he went through. Uh, as well, Lemire is doing the same thing Vendetti or Jeff Johns did for Green Lantern, which is for Green Arrow. He's really setting up a whole mythology around him that probably didn't exist, or that really didn't exist in the past. And for a long time, Green Arrow was like the poor man's Batman, with the whole Trick Arrow thing, the Arrow Claw, the Arrow Cape, that he was given during the Golden Age, Silver Age. So this definitely setting Green Arrow apart from that by giving him this whole other mythos around him. So you know this definitely will set this arc, as I guess, and this entire run is really Lemire doing something completely different to Green Arrow, and he's making Green Arrow be not so much a superhero as an adventurer, and we get that sense of him being more of an adventurer than just your typical superhero, which I love, because it gives the book a unique voice, and not just story wise, but of course Sorrentino's art. You know, Definitely sets the also gives that uniqueness to the book, and that's something I've been finding that this is doing quite a lot. I guess more than Marvel has, where a lot of books are getting their own sort of own unique voice, and very unique art. Finally, another back issue, but it's a much more recent one. Uh, The Mysterious Strangers #4. I finally found it. Uh, and this book has been very hard for me to find. I've enjoyed it greatly, and so I had to pick this up. So anyways, I'm running low on battery, so I'll just close with by saying, until next time, keep smiling.